record to the cloud. And we also have a faculty member with us from Smith. I'll just let Maria Elena introduce herself.
Hello, everybody. I am Maria Elena Rueda from the Spanish and Portuguese department at Smith College. Welcome. We're glad you're all here. And I just want to say for Smith students and even for non-Smith students, I would be happy to answer any questions about the Smith part of the program, and I will just let Kim take it from here, so she can tell us more about PRESHCO.
I sure will. Thank you both, Jennifer and Maria Elena, and to all of the colleges that have contributed to setting this presentation up. My name is Kim Griffin. I'm transmitting to you from Córdoba, so where it's now 6 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a beautiful sunny afternoon as usual in Córdoba. And I've been the director of the PRESHCO program this is my 5th year now. And previously I've been working for many, many years in study abroad. I was previously at Middlebury and at Middlebury College and also a couple of Spanish universities. So welcome everyone. I'm going to share my screen. I do have a quick PowerPoint, and then most of the time I would like to leave open for questions for anybody to ask questions. So let me share my screen. Hopefully I can. Oh no, this is not going to happen again. Okay, well, I'm not seeing anything. Sharing my screen, so let me see what I can do here.
Do you need me to do it? Do you want to send it to me?
Okay, yeah, maybe I will have to. Why is that happening now?
Oh wait, here, let's see. Just try now.
Okay, no, it's not giving me any of my screens to be able to share. So well, that's
okay. Well, send me the slide and just start talking, and I'll get it sorted.
Okay, I will do that. Yeah, just a second. I apologize. Let me see. Can I just share this with you? I'll send you this. It's a Google presentation. So
okay.
My apologies. I will start talking to you right as soon as I send this off to Jennifer. Okay, there it goes. Okay. Well, so what I wanted to do first was to talk to you a little bit about the city of Córdoba. And as soon as we have the slides open, you're going to see a beautiful slide of it. Córdoba is, as you know, in the southern part of Spain, in Andalusia. And it is I would call it a medium-sized city for Spain. It has 350,000 people, so it's not a small town by any means. It's a good-sized city that has a lot to offer culturally, socially, and so. But yet, it's a small enough city that you can walk everywhere. It's probably the longest you would have to walk to get to the university or to get to your homestay or anything is about 45 minutes maximum, and it's more like 20 to 30 minutes. So it's a really nice walkable city with a historical center and also a modern center. So it has lots of shopping as well, and it's just a nice mix of things that students can do and also can do community-wise as well as university-wise. The interesting thing about the city too is that it's a unique destination. Actually, it's not Madrid, it's not Barcelona, it's not Seville, it's not Granada, or Salamanca, which are kind of the more popular destinations or populated destinations, I would say. But Córdoba is a very popular destination because it's a little bit different. There are not a lot of foreign students here, or particularly American students. There we are. Okay, thank you, Jennifer. So this is a view of the Guadalquivir River, which is an important river that flows through all of Andalusia and ends up down in the Atlantic Ocean. You're looking at the Roman Bridge and the Mezquita, the cathedral and mosque in Córdoba, which is one of the most famous monuments here. Córdoba is also, as I was saying, it's a nice mix of old historical and new and modern. But it is one of the few cities in the world that has 4 UNESCO heritage sites. So it really does have a lot to offer as far as particularly if you're interested in history, you're a history of art, an art history major or a history major or religious studies major, etc. This is a good place to be because you're seeing it every day. So can I pass the slides, or do you need to do that?
I think I'll have to do that. So
okay. So next slide, as I was saying earlier, it's a unique destination, but it's very centrally located, actually within Spain, a little bit towards the south, but there's an AVE, a fast train to get to Madrid, to Malaga, to the beach, to Barcelona, to Valencia, up to the north. So that has been critical for Córdoba because it's no longer just one of those places that you drive through, but people actually come here and stay, and you can travel quite quickly to any of the major cities and any of the major airports to do any traveling outside of Spain. Like I say, the city is historic and modern, and the culture is not only the World Heritage sites, but also there are amazing theaters here, concerts, dance, and so on and so forth.
right.
And that's okay. Just go back one quick second. and then of course the climate is a big draw here. It's because unless you come in July, which is pretty brutally hot, the rest of the year is just a nice temperature. Right now, it's just beautiful out, especially the fall is nice. So why would you want to study at PRESCO? That's, I think, the question that you're all asking yourselves right now. PRESCO has 4 major areas that are very important and that we work very hard at helping students get to these goals in these 4 areas. One of them, of course, it's because it's a full immersion program. Immersion is the key word, but there's 4 types of immersion that we concentrate on. One is language immersion, of course, and that translates into an intensive language course as people come in to the program, to more than anything, to get your Spanish ears on before you actually get to Córdoba and get into your university courses. So we have a good intensive language course for about a week before you actually get to Córdoba and begin your classes. We generally go someplace else in Spain, like Granada or Salamanca, or up north to Santander, because that's also a way of seeing other parts of Spain before you end up living for a period of time in Andalusia. Then we have the commitment to use Spanish. There's a PRESCO commitment that students actually sign. We talk about it. We talk about what it means to maintain Spanish all the time, which is not an easy thing to do, but we talk about strategies on how to be able to do this. And so that commitment is very critical to the program as well. The second part of the immersion is our community immersion program. That's living with a host family. We also have possibilities of student residence halls, although for the most part, students prefer to live with our host families. They're amazing. That's one of the highest ranked values of the program, that when the students finish the program, everyone mentions their host family and what an important part of their experience they were. They've been working for the program for many years. Córdoba is a very personal city. People know each other, people greet each other on the streets, and the families are just very accommodating. A lot of participation in local life and in the university life, where we have a big conversation partners program, because the community immersion involves doing different activities with University of Córdoba students, and also participating in other parts of the different neighborhoods in Córdoba. And again, we'll talk about that more in just a minute. Then there's the cultural immersion part. We have cultural workshops in dance, in music, in theater. There are some certain funds that students are, that we actually used to fund whatever activities students want to do on their own as well, or together with their conversation partners. And then, of course, excursions. We have a nice balance, I think, of creating group excursions for our students, but also leaving some time for students to explore on their own and giving them suggestions about where they can explore and interesting places to visit in Spain that are not necessarily the most, most everyone would probably already go to Madrid or Barcelona and so on, but we can give you other suggestions as well of other types of excursions and other types of travel that you can do through Spain. And then last but not least, of course, is academic immersion. I don't leave it for the last for any particular reason, just because that's that is, what you're coming here for is the academic immersion. So we have classes organized for PRESHCO students, the PRESHCO classes, and then you will also be able to direct enroll in University of Córdoba classes. And again, we'll talk about that more in just a minute. There is an initial study tour. After that intensive language course, we take a few days to go to one particular area in Spain. We weren't able to do that last year because of the pandemic, but things have opened up and we're free to travel wherever we want to in Spain. So we can do that as well. And then there's also a big internship program, which is becoming even bigger because as PRESHCO students are out in the community and doing internships on with such success, people are starting to call the program. So we're really opening up the internship program. So next slide, please. Okay, again, so let's continue with the academic immersion. The normal thing to do here, the normal registration process is to register in 2 classes at the University of Córdoba. You can register in any degree program at all, and whatever degree program you're interested in, you can register in that here in the university. This is a large university, so there is everything from all of the sciences. There's a science campus here in Córdoba. So any of the sciences you can register in. We are located, the PRESHCO office is located in the Facultad de Filosofía y Letras, humanities. So any type of humanities, translation, history, art history, philosophy, and literature, any type of humanities or social sciences degree you can also register in. And then there is a large education department as well. And we're getting more and more students who are interested in psychology and education. So besides the 2 University of Córdoba classes, you would take 2 PRESHCO classes. As I said, these are organized only for PRESHCO students. So the classes are small. They're a place where you can use your Spanish as freely as possible and not feel like you're competing with native speakers. Although, like I say, in the University of Córdoba classes, our students really stand out. They excel, and they have no difficulty at all in using their Spanish in those classes. But the PRESHCO classes are kind of designed more towards the majors that you all take on US campuses. Okay, so there's generally a class that is either language or linguistics, translation in that area. There are several classes in history, art history, archaeology is a very big topic here that of course in Córdoba you're out on the street and you're in archaeological museums practically every day. Geography is a very large department here in the University of Córdoba. Human geography, physical geography, Spain's strategic place in the world, that type of thing. And of course, art history is also there are a good number of classes. We also have classes in literature and cinema together, music, Spanish guitar, flamenco, of course, is a very important part of the Córdoba culture. And like I said, archaeology. So and every semester we change things around a little bit, but from these areas, we always have classes that we offer through PRESHCO. There is also a possibility of studying studio arts or music or dance too. That's kind of a special topic. So if you're interested in that, we need to know about that ahead of time, because that's outside of the university. Those are particular conservatories. Okay, next slide. Oops. Oh, the excursions, I think, yeah. So I mentioned the excursions before. Again, it varies. We always go to the place that you're seeing at the right, Madinat al-Sara, that's just outside of Córdoba. It's the ruins of an important Islamic palace, and has a history that is fascinating. And then we generally go to Madrid, Toledo, and Segovia, or time permitting and weather permitting and pandemic permitting, we go to other places as well. And so there's the initial study tour. There are several day excursions here within the province of Córdoba, and then at least one 2 to 3 day excursion, might be more. And then of course, local visits. The classes, the PRESHCO classes have associated with each and every one of them, they have a co-curricular program. So besides the PRESHCO activities that we organize for the whole group, each class also has either excursions or visits, local visits here in Córdoba. So, archaeology, of course, you're out on the street and you go to archaeological sites. Art history, we might go down take a morning and go down to Seville to the art museum in Seville. So each class has its activities, and then the program in general has also other activities and excursions. Okay, so the next one I think is internships. And as I mentioned, we have more and more internships. They're everything from actually working at excavation sites to working in the archaeological museum here in Córdoba, which is a really nice museum. We have history majors studying or working in the provincial archives, so working on 13th century documents, archiving. We have a lot of students teaching English in schools, more and more students, as I say, who are interested in education and are working in the schools here. We also have students working with NGOs, particularly with there's a big group of people who migrate to Spain and settle in Córdoba, and so we work with them. Also local businesses and associations like the Association for Cerebral Palsy, Association for different types of conditions that people have, and we send our students out to work in those associations as well. Okay, next. This is just a couple of pictures of the Compromiso PRESHCO, the language commitment. We actually have a ceremony where students discuss, what the importance of the language, of using Spanish is for them. We have a lot of students from Latin America or Spanish-speaking communities who come to Córdoba, and it's quite an interesting thing for them for their Spanish-speaking identity from where they come from to fitting into a different variant of the Spanish language, and a different Spanish-speaking identity. And so that always comes out in this commitment ceremony. And then just other people, one student said, we just had this 2 weeks ago, and one student said, I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this because I want to do this as a favor to myself. And so that was kind of an interesting comment that she made. Okay, next. And these are some of the activities that the students do with the funds that we provide to the students. A lot of students come to play soccer and rugby. Micaela is down on the right hand side, down at the bottom. She not only played soccer while she was here, they called her to come back and play in this league called City Ladies Football Club as a member of the team. Unfortunately, the pandemic hit and she couldn't come, but I think she's still going to come. So soccer is a big thing. Rugby as well. We've had students on the tennis team, on the basketball team, and through the university, and also in neighborhood leagues as well. Horseback riding. We have a good number of cooking classes that students participate in. We have one this Friday, as a matter of fact. There are guitar lessons and Sevillanas, dance lessons, and whatever anyone would like to come up with. We're open to creating new opportunities for students according to different interests. Ceramics classes has been something that we've added and is very popular. Next. Community immersion, as I said, the host families, these are lots of pictures with host families. So we have host families. We have students who have married into the host families. That's how close they get sometimes. So they just are really committed to PRESHCO, and you are a real member of the family. It's not just called a family for, just so we have a name for this, but you actually are a part of the family. And that's one of the best parts of the program. It really is. Everything's included, all 3 meals. They are very responsive to any types of food preferences or food intolerances. Right now we have 1 student who is vegan, 3 students who are vegetarian, some who are pescatarian. It's just part of their, they know that's part of their they're having a student from PRESHCO in their home. And next. This is the group that's here now with their conversation partners. And as I say, this is out in Córdoba. This is Córdoba has Roman origins. Well, actually previous to Roman origins, but there's a very large section of Roman ruins here in Córdoba. So this is one of the temples here in the background. And the students will go out and, we'll have maybe a brunch together, and then they go out and do something together. They'll do like a photography competition, and everybody comes back and shares their photographs, or they'll just go and one of the University of Córdoba students who is studying tourism, for example, will give them a tour of Córdoba. So it's become a very nice group. Tonight there is it's board game night. So we have a locale here in Córdoba, and the students are getting together. The University of Córdoba and PRESHCO students are getting together to play board games. We have board games in Spanish and board games in English. So then they switch back and forth between Spanish and English. That's fun. Okay, next. Everything's included, from academics to housing to all of your cultural activities, all of your travel. The internships, health insurance, everything is included in what you pay. So it's, unless you want whatever you spend on your own as personal expenses or personal travel, once you've paid, then everything is included. So that's very helpful to many students. And next, we're just about done. This is our staff, our immediate staff. There is a person in charge of academics, who is an archaeology specialist, a person in charge of housing and other issues, housing and internships, actually, Maribel. And Encarni is a person who's in charge of student services and well-being, and that's a big part of our job, making sure that you're happy, healthy, and safe. And that's Encarni's specialty. There are a couple of other people as well who collaborate, but these are the four main people. Next. Okay, again, these are the places. You'll be in the University of Córdoba classrooms. We also have, this is our office, and also our locale where we do all of our cultural activities. And next. You can do everything online. It's pretty user friendly. We keep tweaking it to make sure that it's more and more user friendly. We help you get your visas, which is not an easy task. So everyone is always very appreciative that we can manage to do that for them. And we do a lot of pre-departure, not only orientation, but helping you register, helping you choose your classes, academic advising, and so on, both before you get here, and also once you get here, then we go into it in more depth. Next. Okay, so I need to talk a little bit about health and safety as well. And we have, besides COVID, I'll start before COVID, as I say, we have a person dedicated to helping you manage all of your health and welfare while you're here in Córdoba. And she's really good at it. She's very empathetic, and she has a finger on all of the resources that we have here in Córdoba and in Madrid if need be. We, of course, we stayed open all last year during the pandemic and received students. And the only way that we could do that was to put in place very, very complete and strict protocols that have to do with COVID. And we have lots of information on our webpage if you're interested in or concerned about seeing exactly what those protocols are. And we also have a daily update of what the COVID situation here is in Córdoba and in Spain in general. So that's in real time. So anything that you would like to know about how we're managing the program during these times, it's all on our webpage, and we can also answer any specific questions that you or your parents might have. And I think we're down to the last slide, maybe. Yes, we are. So we have a website, we have Instagram, we have PRESHCO, we have Facebook, we have a YouTube channel where you can see all of the videos that our students, that we've made and our students have made. We're particularly concentrating on Instagram these days, and we have a student from Wellesley this semester who is publishing on Instagram everything that the students are doing, and having students participate, the students who are here right now, having them participate in sort of letting people know exactly what their life is like while they're here in Córdoba. So that's what PRESHCO is all about. So I would be happy to hear your questions and or add any information that I may have left out.
While we're waiting for people to get warmed up, there is one question in the chat about flights. Are flights included as well? And if so, where will we fly out of?
Yes, good question. I am working on that right now, for example, for the spring group. Yes, we generally organize a group flight when that's possible. Like I say, it's been such a crazy year that things are, it's hard to say what we always do, but we generally have a group flight. We're looking right now for the spring, for example, at a flight flying out of New York and going to Madrid. And then probably we would be returning from Malaga to New York. So you would have to get to New York, and again, each case is different. So I would have to talk to each one of you about that. But there definitely will be a flight, at least for next spring, coming from New York to Madrid. Now, last year we had students flying to Malaga because it was easier to pick people up during the pandemic, because we couldn't travel around very much. So that is also a possibility. Both of those destinations, Madrid and Malaga, the PRESHCO goes and picks you up at the airport and takes you to the first destination, which is the intensive language course. In the spring, I can tell you, in February, we will be going to Salamanca for the intensive language course, and then taking a trip down Extremadura to get to Córdoba. But yes, flights are included.
And another question is, will classes taken at the university count toward my major?
That depends on your department where you have your major, but yes, in general, they do. The University of Córdoba and PRESHCO classes are generally accepted they're always accepted for credit. Let's put it that way. Whether it's a major credit or a distribution credit or a different type of credit, that depends on your department. Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's pretty much how it works.
That's how it works at Wellesley. The courses are pre-approved for general degree credit, but then courses need to be approved for specific major credit. But most of our departments aren't concerned about the course being offered in Spanish, even like for the science department. Sometimes students have to come up with a translated syllabus.
Yes.
And that's pretty much the same at Smith. All the classes will count for credit, but it will depend on specific departments whether they count for your major or not.
Okay.
Here's a related,
Sorry.
related question about, is there a place for someone majoring in English literature, minoring in art history?
Yes, absolutely. We've had several English majors here, as a matter of fact, and they generally take, there is a possibility of taking classes in the English philology department, which is kind of what the Spanish version of an English major is. There are English majors here at the University of Córdoba. So they take English linguistics, they take pronunciation, they take, and a lot of literature courses. So we've had students taking English literature courses in Spanish while they were here, for example. So you're reading in English, but discussing it in Spanish. And that has worked fine. And then, of course, if you combine it with art history, you have all of the art history courses completely in Spanish. But certainly you can take courses here that will possibly be counted towards your major. But again, that's your department that has to decide that. But we can do work. If I know about that in advance, we can I can send you the course description so that you can get pre-approved credit.
And what are some of the popular organizations that PRESHCO students volunteer at?
Probably the most popular one right now, everyone is clamoring to well, it's actually, we don't really call it volunteer work anymore because it's much more involved. And so they're really internships. I mean, they are designed for you to, with a profession in mind, with your future in mind, and with your cultural integration in mind. So volunteer work internship, right now, the most popular one is the archaeological museum. But we also have had a lot of students. We have a student right now volunteering at the Royal Stables, where they have horse equestrian shows, and she's working with those people and the equestrian shows. We have a student right now, I guess probably the most popular is working in the schools, working with children in the schools as well, teaching English, but also other things. We've had students in the past also stay on in the summer, by the way, to set up summer camps and do activities like environmental science activities in English, for example. So combining learning English with science and environmental science. A lot of students are interested in working with this organization called APIC, which is the Association for Immigrants in Córdoba. Very interesting collaboration with them that that PRESHCO has specifically. They teach English. They also teach other skills to help people get a job while they're here. So
Great. Is housing included during the break between fall and spring if you choose to go for the entire academic year?
Yes, it is. Yes, you can stay at the same place, leave your luggage there, and so on.
And when is the application phase open?
You're talking about next year. I think it's open. It's open right now. The application is online, and I already have some applications for fall of 22. So anytime, that's always open. You just need to specify when it is you're interested in coming, and we'll put you in the proper folder and tell you what the deadlines are for getting the rest of your materials in.
And can an applicant be an undeclared student, freshman or sophomore student?
Okay, that's a question for you. And I think Lisa Johnson is around too at Smith.
So at Wellesley, you need to have a declared major before you study abroad. We did in the pandemic year send first years abroad, but we are not doing that now except in special first year programs. So you would need to check with your home institution about rules about when you can go.
Yeah, and similar with Smith, one of our eligibility requirements for approval to study abroad is that the students need to have declared their major. So I would recommend Smith students, if you're sophomores right now thinking about studying abroad during your junior year, you should think about declaring your major by the end of the semester, so that you can be talking with your academic advisor about your study abroad plans.
I see the next one about, is there a Jewish, I could see this here. Are there options for Jewish study students? That's a really good question. And it's also an area that we've been working, we're working towards creating actually a track for Jewish studies. Córdoba is all about Islamic studies, Jewish studies, and about the history of Christianity in Córdoba as well. What we do for all students is before you get here, once we get your application and see what your major is, what your interests are, and so on, we send you a document which includes all of the classes that we recommend, different options for classes that we recommend at the University of Córdoba and PRESHCO. We also send you options for doing internships in your areas of interest. and also other activities that you can be involved in while you're here in Córdoba. For example, in Córdoba, there's a Casa Separad, which is a really interesting place that, you know, we would include that in your document to make sure that you're involved with the activities at the Casa Separad, or that you know about the activities at the Casa Separad. So yes, there is a specialist here, Enrique Soria, in Jewish studies. It's very different from what you will find in the United States, but that's part of the challenge of studying abroad, is seeing how things like Jewish studies are approached from a different perspective. Information about the science courses. Yes. You can, if you look on the University of Córdoba webpage and look at, and I'll type this in here, the Rabanales campus, which is the science campus. You can see all of the different science tracks that there are, science majors that there are. Probably the biggest one here, there's a big veterinary science program, which I know probably no one is particularly interested in, but spinning off from the veterinary science program, there are a lot of courses that are probably would be considered pre-med courses in the States. And then biology, chemistry, biochemistry, you know, statistics, computer programming. There's a polytechnic as well as a science part of the university. So if you would like, if you're interested in looking at more specific things, we can Zoom, and I can walk you through that to show you the different types of science programs that there are. What are the, okay, let's see. How is the food and or nightlife in the city? Oh boy, I would have you talk to one of our students here for now. I'm not real big on nightlife these days, but it's good, both. I can guarantee you that that the food is amazing and that the nightlife is pretty good. It's a university city. You know, it's a city of 350,000, and the university has probably, I can't remember right offhand, but it's like 13,000. So it's a college city, or at least part of it is. And yeah, the nightlife is, you know, Spanish people live out in the streets. They live out in the bars and restaurants, and it's not just, you know, going out at night to bars. It's spending all, you know, at any time of the day or night and having food and having tapas and having wine and, you know, and so on. And then of course there's also a big club nightlife too, which we don't talk much about, but it exists, I can assure you. Biology and marine science offerings, like, I'm not sure if you mean like specific classes. If you do that, it's probably would be good for us to Zoom, and I can walk you through those. But we've had lots of students in the biology classes. That's what I can tell you. And that, you know, they have classes in general at the university here, and Spanish universities they're not so specific like they are in the States. Like, you know, you get kind of, I don't want to say general biology courses, but it's a fixed curriculum. So it's not something that changes semester after semester. So what you see as being offered this year will be offered next year. Okay, and probably by the same professors and with the same course description. So pretty much whatever you see on the website for this year, for 21-22, is going to be the same for 22-23. So you know, like I said, we can Zoom and we can look at exactly what is offered. Options studying government, yes, that would be in the law and economics faculty. The university is organized by facultades. Okay, so there's the Faculty of Science, which has a lot of different majors. There's the Faculty of Law and Economics, which has other majors. The Facultad of Filosofía y Letras, which is humanities, and Facultad de Educación. There's also medicine, but we don't have access to that. So for government, you would be in the Derecho y Económicas. The same thing for the economics majors that I'm seeing right now. Economics is not a big major here, but it does exist. And the thing is, in Spanish universities, the curriculum are between economics and business administration. There's quite a bit of overlap. So you'll see económicas y empresarial. Económicas y administración de empresas, it's called. But yes, there are classes that you can take here as well. Government, there's a section on European law, European government, an area that is within the derecho, and a lot about human rights, for example, courses. So yes, there are those options. Possibility of independent travel, even during COVID. Yes. However, that may change from one day to the next. We do control that very carefully. We have a Google Doc form that everyone must fill out before they travel and get approval on. I look into who you're traveling with, how you're traveling, train, bus, public transportation, private transportation, where you'll be staying, Airbnbs, hotels, hostels, and so on. And we do have a testing program, a weekly testing program, and more often if you travel. So you may travel. We just need to know exactly in what conditions, and so we can help you make sure that you travel safely and come back healthy. Internships geared towards economics and business. Yes, there are. Right now we're working with actually a really interesting entrepreneur who was originally from Morocco, was a migrant who came over in very complicated conditions, was helped by a family here, and he is now an entrepreneur here in Córdoba, and is opening a hotel with kind of a social responsibility hotel. And we have a student who will be starting her internship there next week, as a matter of fact, and other businesses too. It kind of depends on what your interests are, your particular interests. We have students doing internships at hotel, a lot of tourism businesses. We have another student who will be starting at Córdoba is a place where there are a lot of homes with beautiful patios. That's one of the big draws to Córdoba. And so there's a lot of tourism that comes to visit those patios. And so we have a student starting to work with the patio association company next week also. And lots of other things. We're working on this all the time. So we get new internship possibilities all the time. You apply with a credit shortage if it will be fixed before arrival. I think so. I'm assuming you would be like looking at finishing a certain number of credits either in the summer or in the fall semester if you're coming in the spring. If that's the case, I think so, right, Jennifer, Lisa?
That would be up to your home institution. At Wellesley, we would allow it as long as you had a plan.
Internships that focus on pre-health. Okay, that's also a really good one. Nelida, I can see you're coming next semester. So yes, but the pandemic really kind of pushed those aside for a little bit because no one was allowed into any of the healthcare facilities here in Córdoba or in Spain in general. So yes, but kind of a hesitant yes. Let me put it that way. We're working on it, and you might not actually be in a clinic or a hospital or anything like that, but there may be a possibility. Let me send me an email and I can be more specific about that. And what can we expect? When can we expect to hear about application decisions for spring 22? Probably tomorrow. I have the acceptance letters all ready to go. And we're just kind of waiting. There are a couple of last minute applications coming in. So tomorrow or Monday at the latest. But pretty much everybody will be hearing from me that you've been accepted. So you can start applying, start getting the rest of your materials in. Okay, wow. Nice set of questions. Thank you very much, all of you, for being so interested. And like I say, anything else that you need to know, Jennifer at Wellesley, Lisa at Smith, and their offices, and myself and my staff, anything that you need, we're available.
Thanks, Kim.
Okay, thank you all. Adios.
Everybody,
Hello.
bye-bye. Well, it was a
Great turnout.
yeah.
Let me stop recording.
Okay. And we